Hey there, treasure hunters. Imagine this, you're sifting through your pocket change one day, and boom, you find a penny. But not just any penny. This little guy, hiding in plain sight, turns out to be worth a whopping $1.1 million. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, that's the magic of the 1994 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. Stick around, because in today's video, we're diving into why this humble copper coin is turning heads in the coin collecting world, how to spot one, and why you should check your change tonight. And trust me, you'll want to stay to the end, because I've got a story that might just make you rethink every penny you've ever tossed into a jar.so. What's the deal with the 1994 no-mint Mark penny? Here's the scoop. In 1994, the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia cranked out millions of pennies. Normally, these coins should have a P mint mark, that's like their birth certificate, telling you they came from Philly. But somewhere along the line, a few slipped through the cracks without that little P. Oops, why does that matter? Well, in the coin collecting world, errors are like VIP tickets, rare, valuable, and highly sought after. These no-mint mark pennies are unicorns, and collectors are willing to pay big bucks to get their hands on one. Now, let's talk numbers. Why is this particular penny worth $1.1 million? It's all about rarity. Only a handful of these error coins exist, and when demand meets scarcity, cha-ching, the value skyrockets. Alright, here's where it gets fun. How do you know if you have one? Grab your pennies and take a closer look. If you find a 1994 penny with Abraham Lincoln chillin' on the front and no P under the date, you might have struck gold. Well, copper gold. Here's a little pro tip: invest in a magnifying glass. Trust me, squinting at coins with the naked eye is a fast track to frustration. And hey, if you've got a coin that looks suspiciously mint markless, it's time to visit a coin appraiser or send it off for grading. Don't just take your cousin's word for it, unless your cousin happens to be a numismatist. Of course, speaking of numismatists, let me tell you a quick story. Last year, I was helping a friend sort through an old jar of coins they'd inherited from their grandpa. We were joking about finding treasure, and guess what? Tucked in there was a penny that looked a little different. Long story short, after a few weeks of research and a trip to a professional appraiser, they found out it wasn't the 1994 no-mint mark, but it was still worth a few $100. Not bad for a coin that had been gathering dust for decades. Moral of the story? You never know what might be hiding in your spare change, and now, let's sprinkle in some humor here. You know that saying, a penny saved is a penny earned? Yeah, Benjamin Franklin had no idea pennies could be worth millions when he said that. If he did, I bet he'd be hoarding every last one. But in all seriousness, coin collecting isn't just about money. It's like holding a piece of history in your hands. Each coin tells a story of the year it was made, the mistakes that turned it into a treasure, and the collectors who keep its legacy alive. Alright, folks, let's wrap this up. The 1994 no-mint mark penny is proof that sometimes, the most valuable things are hiding in plain sight, in your pocket, your car's cup holder, or that random jar in your kitchen. So, what are you waiting for? Start digging through your change, and who knows, you might be sitting on $1 million jackpot. Before you go, do me a favor. If you found this video helpful, entertaining, or you just love the idea of turning pennies into paychecks, hit that subscribe button. Join our community of treasure hunters and coin enthusiasts. I'll be bringing you more tips, tricks, and stories about coins worth serious money. Alright, folks, picture this: you're digging through your couch cushions, maybe looking for some spare change to pay for that late night snack, and bam! You stumble across a penny. Just a penny, right? Wrong. What if I told you that penny could be worth a cool $1.2 million? Yep, you heard me, $1 million. And today, we're diving into the story of the 1987 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny. This little guy isn't just a coin, it's a potential jackpot hiding in plain sight. So grab a cup of coffee, get comfy, and let's talk about how a penny might just change your life. Let's get one thing straight: 1987 doesn't exactly scream rare coin jackpot, right? No major coin redesigns, no crazy minting accidents that year. But the devil's in the details, my friends. This particular penny has no mint mark. Normally, a coin minted in Philadelphia would carry a little P mint mark, but not this one. And it's the lack of that tiny letter that's turning heads and breaking records at auctions. Why? Because rarity equals value in the coin world. And when collectors go wild for something, the price skyrockets faster than your favorite cryptocurrency. Here's the kicker: most 1987 pennies were mass-produced to the tune of billions, so finding one that's special is like finding a needle in a haystack. But this no mint mark penny? It's a true outlier. It's believed that only a handful exist in pristine condition, which is why one recently sold for $1.2 million at auction. That's right, someone paid more for a penny than what most of us make in a year. Wild, huh? Part 3, the story of the one that got away. Now, let me tell you a little story. A couple of years ago, I was at my grandma's house, helping her clean out some old drawers. She had a jar full of pennies, probably about $5 worth, max. I jokingly said, "Hey, maybe one of these is worth a fortune." We laughed it off, and I forgot about it. Fast forward to last week, I learned about this 1987 no mint mark penny and suddenly thought, did I just leave $1 million in Grandma's kitchen? I called her up immediately, and she said, "Oh, that jar?" I gave it to the thrift store. So yeah, lesson learned: never underestimate the value of a penny. Alright, here's what you're gonna do if you think you might have one of these gems. First, grab a magnifying glass. It's coin nerd time. Look closely at your 1987 penny. If it's in decent condition and has no visible mint mark below the date, you might have struck gold. Well, copper, technically, but you get my point. The next step? Get it appraised by a professional. Don't just list it on eBay for $1.2 million and hope for the best. There are legit grading companies like PCGS or NGC who can confirm if your penny is the real deal. Here's the thing, though: condition matters a lot. If your 1987 penny has been through the ringer, scratched, bent, or chewed on by your dog, its value plummets faster than my motivation on a Monday morning. The big bucks are reserved for coins in mint state, which basically means they look like they just came out of the US Mint yesterday. So, treat your coins with care, folks. So, there you have it, the 1987 no mint mark Lincoln penny. Proof that sometimes, the smallest things can hold the biggest surprises. And hey, even if you don't find a $1.2 million penny in your change jar, don't feel bad. At least now you've got a cool party story about how a single coin can buy a house. Who needs monopoly money when real pennies are this valuable? Before you go tearing apart your couch cushions and emptying your piggy bank, make sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got loads more tips, tricks, and strategies to help you spot coins worth big bucks. Share this video with a friend who's always bragging about their coin collection. Who knows, you might just help them find their own jackpot. Thanks for watching, and remember, every penny counts, literally. Hey there, fellow coin lovers. Now, imagine this: you walk into your local coffee shop, sit down with a latte, and as you dig into your pocket to pay, you pull out a penny. But wait, this isn't just any penny. No, my friend. This penny, from 1988, could be worth $1.3 million. Yeah, you heard me right. That little copper coin in your pocket could send you into an early retirement if you know what to look for. Sounds crazy, right? But trust me, this isn't a typo or some wild fantasy. Today, we're going to dive deep into the world of the 1988 mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny and explore how it could potentially be the ticket to $1 million payday. So, grab your magnifying glass and let's see what makes this penny so special. Alright, let's start by talking about the basics. In 1988, the US Mint produced billions of pennies, like they always do. Most of them are, well, worth a penny. But there are a few out there that are a bit, shall we say, extra special? Enter the 1988 mint mark penny. And now, the thing that makes this penny so valuable is something that most people wouldn't even notice unless they really know what they're looking for. We're talking about mint errors. You might be thinking, wait, a mistake is worth $1.3 million? Yes it is. Sometimes, those minting errors are the secret to a coin's sky-high value. You see, back in 1988, the Denver Mint struck a few pennies with a misaligned die. What does that mean, you ask? Well, it means that when the coin was struck, the die that imprinted the design on the penny wasn't lined up properly. This resulted in a penny where the image of Abraham Lincoln was slightly shifted or, in some cases, blurry. But here's where it gets interesting. Because these misaligned coins were produced in limited numbers, they're rare. Really rare. And the rarer something is, the more valuable it becomes. This particular error has caught the eye of collectors who are willing to pay top dollar for a coin that holds a piece of history, and maybe even a mistake. Now, don't go rummaging through your change jar just yet. Not every 1988 penny is worth $1.3 million. Far from it. Most of them are just your run-of-the-mill pennies, like the ones you find in your couch cushions or under your car seat. The ones that are valuable are those that have the misaligned die error. You'll want to check for a few key signs. Take a close look at Abe Lincoln's face. If he looks a little off-center or blurry, you might be in luck. Make sure the date is legible, but look carefully to see if it's off-center. Sometimes, that little shift is all it takes to push this coin into the collector's stratosphere. Even if you find a misaligned penny, the better its condition, the more it could be worth. A well-preserved coin will always fetch a higher price than one that's seen better days. Alright, now let me take you on a little personal journey. I remember the first time I found a coin that I thought could be worth something. I was at a garage sale, and there it was, a 1960-something penny in a dusty old jar. I thought, hey, maybe this is one of those rare ones. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. But that moment got me hooked. I spent hours researching coins, learning about errors, and I realized that there's a whole world of valuable pennies out there, just like this 1988 It was like finding a hidden treasure right in front of me. This brings us to an important point. Research is key. Whether it's a 1988 penny or another coin, taking the time to really understand what makes a coin valuable can be the difference between holding on to a little copper disc and discovering a mini fortune. So, what do you think? Is your spare change worth a fortune? Maybe. If you happen to find a 1988 penny with a misaligned die, you could be holding a coin that's worth $1.3 million. Who knew that a simple penny could have so much power? I hope this video helped you get a little closer to your $1 million coin. And remember, always check your pennies. You never know when one might be hiding a small fortune. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for more tips on coins that could be worth big bucks. I've got plenty more tricks up my sleeve to help you spot those hidden treasures. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up and drop a comment below. Have you found any coins worth money? Share your story, I'd love to hear about it. Imagine finding a penny, just an ordinary penny. But wait, this isn't any ordinary penny. What if I told you that this penny, this tiny piece of copper, could be worth $1.4 million? Sounds like the plot of a movie, right? But in the world of rare coins, this kind of thing actually happens. Today, we're talking about the 1981 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, and trust me, you'll want to hear how this little coin could change your life, or at least your bank account. So, grab your magnifying glass and let's dive into the story of the 1981 no-mint mark penny. Stick with me because you're not going to want to miss the amazing potential hidden in these small, shiny treasures. Alright, let's get into it. So, 1981. A year filled with the debut of some seriously awesome things like the arcade classic Donkey Kong, the iconic music from the band Queen, and of course, a pretty ordinary penny. But wait, not all pennies are created equal. This specific 1981 penny, without a mint mark, can actually fetch a jaw-dropping $1.4 million. Yup, you heard that right, $1.4 million for a coin that could easily be hiding in your change jar at home. So why is it worth so much? Great question. You see, the 1981 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is an anomaly, and that's what makes it so valuable. Normally, pennies from this year would have either an D mint mark, indicating they were minted in Denver, or an S, showing they were minted in San Francisco. But this penny? No mint mark. And not just any no mint mark penny, this is a penny that survived the test of time and is incredibly rare. Here's where it gets interesting. Most people think all pennies are the same. They grab them, toss them into a jar, or even leave them behind at the store without a second thought. But to the keen-eyed collector, that small copper circle can be worth a fortune. Now, I know what you might be thinking, how do I even know if I have one of these rare 1981 no mint mark pennies? Simple, look for the absence of a mint mark on the obverse side, which is the side with Lincoln's face. If you don't see a D or an S near the date, you might just have a gem on your hands. But remember, this coin isn't just about missing the mint mark, it also needs to be in pristine condition. The rarer the coin and the better the condition, the higher the value. Let me tell you, I was once in your shoes, thinking pennies were just pennies. I remember cleaning out my grandma's house and finding a jar of old pennies just sitting there, forgotten. I was about to toss them in with my loose change until I remembered something I had heard about rare coins. So, I spent a little extra time sifting through those pennies. No joke, I found a couple of 1968 no mint mark pennies, which aren't worth $1.4 million, but still turned out I had a handful of coins worth around $200 each. All from a jar I almost dumped. Moral of the story? Never underestimate the value of an old penny. So, let's talk value for a second. The 1981 no mint mark Lincoln penny in pristine condition, meaning it's got sharp details, no wear and tear, and a nice sheen, can go for $1.4 million at auction. And while it might seem like you're more likely to win the lottery, there are still plenty of these rare coins out there. In fact, as time goes on and more people catch on to their rarity, the price of these coins could keep climbing. But here's the catch: like all good treasure hunting, there's a bit of work involved. The key is knowing what to look for, being patient, and doing your homework. I mean, you don't want to find one of these rare coins and think you've hit the jackpot only to find out it's not in mint condition or it's a different year, right? There are a lot of variables at play, which is why coin collectors go through a lot of research to make sure their coins are worth the big bucks. Alright, so here's the deal. If you've got a 1981 penny sitting in your change jar with no mint mark, hold on to it. It could be worth a lot more than you think. And even if it's not that specific coin, the world of rare coins is filled with treasures waiting to be discovered. You just need to keep an eye out and know what to look for. And now, before you rush off to check every penny in your pocket, here's a little reminder. Coins are more than just currency, they're pieces of history. And who knows? Maybe you'll be the one to stumble across a $1.4 million penny or even something rarer. So, if you want more tips on finding valuable coins, strategies to identify rare pieces, and just a little bit of fun along the way, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you don't want to miss out on more tips and tricks to turn your pocket change into serious cash. Catch you in the next video, and may your pennies always be worth more than their weight in copper. Hey there, coin collectors and treasure hunters. Let me ask you a quick question. What's the most you've ever found in your couch cushions? A few spare change coins, maybe a long-lost receipt from that time you tried to avoid buying snacks at the movies? Well, today's story is going to make you look at your pocket change in a whole new way, especially when you hear about a particular coin, a 1980 no mint mark Lincoln penny. This little guy is worth a jaw-dropping $1.5 million. Yeah, you heard that right, $1.5 million. Sounds like something out of a treasure hunt, doesn't it? But trust me, this isn't a one-in-a-million find, it's a real thing. Stick around, and I'll show you why this humble penny could change your life. Alright, let's get into it. The 1980 no mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny is one of the most talked about coins in the world of numismatics. But here's the thing, most people have probably come across a 1980 penny in their coin jars, on the sidewalk, or even at the bottom of their laundry pile. But did you know that if you find a no mint mark version of this coin, it could be worth as much as $1.50 million? Now, you might be thinking, no mint mark? So what does that mean? Does it come with a treasure map or a pirate's key? Let me break it down for you. The US Mint places a little mark on coins to show where they were made, either in Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver, D, or San Francisco, S. But in 1980, the Philadelphia Mint made a small batch of Lincoln pennies without any mint marks. Why? Well, it's not completely clear. Some experts think it was a mistake, while others believe it was an intentional design choice for a very limited batch. Anyway, this lack of mint mark turned out to be the jackpot for collectors. You see, there were only a few hundred of these ghost pennies out there, and their rarity is what makes them worth millions. If you have one of these bad boys in good condition, say, MS65 or higher, you're looking at a coin worth more than most people's cars. And for the lucky few who get their hands on one, it's like winning the coin collector's lottery. So, how do you find one of these elusive gems? First off, you'll need to do some serious digging. I'm talking about checking your old coin collection, raiding your parents' old change drawers, or even looking through rolls of pennies from 1980. Seriously, just imagine the thrill of finding that no mint mark penny in your change. It's like finding a golden ticket in a chocolate bar, but for grown-ups. Let me share a little personal story. When I first got into coin collecting, back when I was about 10 years old, I remember finding a random penny on the sidewalk. I picked it up, and it was a 1974 penny. Nothing special, right? But as a kid who loved the idea of treasure, I thought, hey, maybe this is worth a ton of money. So, I ran to my mom, and with the excitement of an amateur treasure hunter, I showed her my find. She just chuckled and said, honey, that's just a regular penny. But good job for picking it up. But what if I had found a 1980 no-mint mark penny back then? That could have been the start of a completely different story. Anyway, the point is, finding rare coins is all about being in the right place at the right time and, of course, knowing what you're looking for. The 1980 no-mint mark penny might not be sitting in your back pocket today, but it's worth keeping an eye out for. Here's a quick checklist to remember if you think you've stumbled upon a potential $1.5 million penny. Check the reverse of the penny for the absence of a mint mark. If it's there, whether it's D or S, then sorry, not a $1 million penny. Look at the condition of the penny. A coin's grade can make a huge difference in value. Higher grades, like MS65 or better, are worth the most. Don't just take anyone's word for it. Get the coin evaluated by a professional numismatist, or even check auction results to see what similar coins have gone for. Remember, folks, not every penny from 1980 is going to be worth a small fortune. But that's what makes finding rare coins so exciting. It's all about the hunt, so, if you've got a 1980 penny sitting around in your collection, don't just toss it into the jar with all the other change. Take a closer look, because you never know, you could be holding onto a coin that could make you a millionaire. And hey, even if it turns out not to be worth a fortune, at least you'll have a fun story to tell about your hunt for treasure. Coin collecting isn't just about the coins, it's about the thrill of discovery, and before you go diving into your old pennies and half-forgotten change drawers, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more tips on finding coins worth money. I've got a lot more secrets up my sleeve to help you become a coin connoisseur and a potential fortune finder. And hey, while you're at it, leave a comment about your most exciting coin find. I'd love to hear about your own treasure hunts. Hey, what's up, coin collectors and treasure hunters? Welcome back to the channel. If you've ever wondered what makes a penny worth more than its weight in gold, well, you're in the right place today because we're about to dive into the story of the 1964 D-mint mark Lincoln penny, a coin so valuable it could be worth up to $1.60 million. Yep, you heard that right, this little copper beauty could change your life. But before we get into the nitty-gritty, let me ask you, how many times have you dug through your pocket change, only to find a bunch of pennies that are about as valuable as the lint in your jeans? Well, I was like you, until one fateful day. And yes, I'm going to tell you that story because, trust me, it's a real page-turner. But more on that later, so, grab your magnifying glass, put on your detective hat, and let's get into why the 1964 D Lincoln penny might just be the goldmine hiding in your coin jar. Alright, let's start with the basics. You're probably wondering, why in the world would a 1964 D mint mark penny be worth so much? I mean, come on, it's a penny, right? How could this tiny coin even compete with the big boys like the rare $20 bills or those fancy $100 bills you find stuffed in your drawer after you do your yearly cleaning? Here's the deal. Most of the pennies minted in 1964 are about as common as a Wi-Fi signal at a coffee shop. But, and this is the kicker, some of them have a special error that makes them incredibly rare and valuable. Now, I know what you're thinking, errors? What, like printing mistakes? Exactly. But not just any error, we're talking about coins with minting anomalies that make them stand out, like the double die variety. The 1964 D penny that we're talking about isn't just a regular penny, it's got an error that's so rare and valuable it can command a hefty price on the collector's market. We're talking $1.6 million. And you might be sitting there thinking, I've got a 1964 D penny at home, so what should I look for? Well, hold on to your magnifying glass because here's where things get really interesting. The main reason the 1964 D Lincoln penny is worth so much is because of the double die error. If you take a good, close look at the coin, you might see the doubling of certain letters and numbers, most commonly in Liberty and In God We Trust. It's subtle, but it's there. And it's that subtle error that makes it so special and valuable. If you happen to find one of these double-die 1964 D pennies in mint condition, that's when you're looking at a serious chunk of change. Now, I know you might be thinking, okay, cool, I know what to look for now. But how do I know if mine is the one? Well, let me give you a little personal story to show you how wild this can get. A few years ago, I was just minding my own business, going through some old coins I'd found in my grandmother's attic. You know, the usual dusty boxes filled with stuff you think is junk. So I'm sorting through these old pennies, looking at some worn out 1950s ones, and then, bam, I find this one penny that catches my eye. It was a 1964 Lincoln penny, and it looked pretty normal at first glance. But I was feeling lucky that day, so I took a second look. I pulled out my magnifying glass and boom, there it was, a slight doubling in the word liberty. At first, I thought, nah, it's probably nothing. But then I checked it out online, and folks, I was this close to calling up an expert. Long story short, it wasn't the $1 million one, but it sure gave me a rush. That little moment made me realize that even a simple penny can have a lot more value than you might think. Now, if you're lucky enough to find one of these error coins, you've got yourself a collector's dream. To give you an idea of how valuable these can be, a well-preserved 1964 double die penny has sold for as much as $1.6 million at auctions. Can you imagine? That's like turning a forgotten penny into a luxury vacation, or maybe even a new car, or heck, if you're like me, a pretty nice coffee machine that makes all the lattes you could ever dream of. Alright, so now you're probably itching to check your coin stash. Here's what you want to do: a good magnifying glass or a coin microscope will be your best friends here. Don't just eyeball it, get up close and personal with your penny. Look for doubled features in the letters, particularly Liberty, In God We Trust, and the date. The more pristine your penny is, the higher its value. A mint condition coin will fetch way more than a scratched up one. Sorry, folks, those rolls of pennies in your change jar probably aren't going to cut it. If you think you found the real deal, consider getting it certified by a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. That way, you'll know for sure if your penny is worth a fortune or if it's just a regular, run-of-the-mill coin. So there you have it. The 1964 Lincoln penny, a tiny treasure that could change your financial future if you happen to find the rare double die error. If you've got one sitting in your collection, take the time to check it out. You never know when you could strike it rich. Before I wrap up, I want to give you one final tip: coins are like treasure hunts, sometimes you've got to dig deep and do a little research. But hey, when you do find that gem, it's all worth it, right? If you're enjoying the journey of discovering coins worth money, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I've got tons more tips, tricks, and coin stories coming your way. Plus, I'll be helping you with everything from understanding rare mint marks to spotting coins that are hiding in plain sight. So go ahead, subscribe, and let's keep this treasure hunt going together. Hey, coin lovers! Have you ever picked up a penny off the ground, looked at it, and thought, this is just a penny, nothing special here? Well, hold on to your hat, because today, we're diving into a little coin that could be worth a fortune. Yes, a single penny, folks. Imagine this: you could have a 1984 no mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, and that little guy could be worth a whopping $1.7 million. That's right, I said million with a capital M. Now, before you start looking at the pennies in your couch cushions, let me tell you, not every 1984 penny is gonna make you rich. But if you've got the right one, you might be holding a gold mine, or, should I say, a copper mine? Okay, I'll stop with the puns. Let's get into it. Alright, so you're probably thinking, what makes this 1984 penny so special? Well, first things first, mint marks. You know, the little letter on the penny that tells you where it was made? Usually, it's a D for Denver, S for San Francisco, or, you guessed it, no mint mark means it wasn't minted anywhere in particular. But here's the kicker: a 1984 penny without a mint mark is a pretty rare find, and when it comes to rare coins, it's all about supply and demand. These babies were meant to have a mint mark, like most other coins from that year, but a few slipped through the cracks and ended up without one. And because they're so rare, people want them, and not just a little, some people are willing to pay big bucks for them. And we're talking big bucks. $1.7 million big. Can you imagine? One little penny worth more than a mansion in some places. It's crazy how these things work, but it's true. So, if you're out there digging through your change jar or even your change drawer, you might just want to give your 1984 pennies a second glance. But, like I said, not every 1984 penny is going to make you rich. You see, what makes these pennies so valuable is a combination of factors: their rarity, their condition, and most importantly, whether they were made without a mint mark in the first place. The ones that are in mint condition, meaning they look almost brand new, are the real jackpot. Let me give you a little personal story. So, the other day, I was sifting through some old pennies in my kitchen drawer, the ones that accumulate from all those vending machine snacks I don't need, and I thought, wouldn't it be wild if I found a coin worth a small fortune? I grabbed a couple of 1984 pennies, flipped them over to check for a mint mark, and, spoiler alert, no such luck. Turns out, I'm not a millionaire just yet, but it got me thinking, what if I really do find one of these rare pennies? And that's when it hit me, sometimes, you've got to look beyond the face value of a coin. A penny might seem insignificant at first glance, but depending on a few tiny details, it could actually be worth more than what you'd expect. The 1984 no mint mark penny is the perfect example of that. So why does the 1984 no mint mark penny fetch such a high price? Well, besides its rarity, the coin's value is also affected by collector demand. Coin collectors are some of the most passionate folks out there. They'll go to great lengths to track down rare pieces to complete their collections. And when it comes to this penny, the hunt is on. Some people actually pay a premium for coins that don't fit the typical pattern. It's like when you're at a yard sale and find an old lamp that looks just like your grandmother's. You think, I've got to have that. It's the same with these coins. And when the 1984 no mint mark penny pops up, collectors snatch them up, which drives the price up. But hold up, before you start digging through your pocket change, let's talk about condition. A 1984 no mint mark penny in pristine condition is what you want. If it's tarnished, scratched, or worn down, it's probably not going to be worth anywhere near $1.7 million. So, if you find one of these beauties, it's a good idea to keep it in mint condition to protect its value. And, of course, get it certified by a professional coin grading service. Alright, folks, here's where I leave you with a little nugget of advice. If you're ever out and about and happen to spot a 1984 penny without a mint mark, don't just toss it aside. Give it a little closer inspection. It might not be worth $1.7 million just yet, but hey, you never know. And remember, coin collecting isn't just about finding that one lucky penny. It's about learning more, exploring the history behind each coin, and appreciating the value they hold. Before I go, though, I want to leave you with one final thought. Coins, especially rare ones like the 1984 no mint mark penny, can sometimes turn up in the most unexpected places. I mean, who would have thought I'd be sitting here telling you about a penny worth $1.7 million? If you enjoyed this video, and want more tips, tricks, and insights into the world of valuable coins, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'm always here to share more stories, coin finds, and advice on how to get your hands on some seriously valuable change. And who knows, maybe one day, I'll be back here helping you cash in your lucky coin. Hey, coin lovers! Imagine this, you're rummaging through your change, maybe you're at the store grabbing a snack, and you stumble upon a 1969 D Lincoln penny. You think to yourself, it's just another penny, right? But wait, hold up. What if I told you that tiny little coin could be worth up to $1.8 million? Sounds like a bad joke, right? But trust me, it's no laughing matter, and now, I get it. You're probably thinking, $1 million penny? That's crazy. But before you write this off as another internet exaggeration, let me take you on a little journey through the 1969 D Lincoln penny and show you why this seemingly ordinary coin is actually worth more than a house in some places. Alright, let's break this down, starting with some basics. If you're a seasoned collector, you're probably already familiar with the Lincoln penny series. But in case you're just getting into it, let me fill you in on this iconic coin. The Lincoln penny has been around since 1909, featuring the 16th President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln. It's one of the most widely collected coins in America, and for good reason. Now, back to the 1969 D penny. The D is the mint mark that tells us this penny was minted in Denver. But what makes this particular penny stand out from the crowd? Well, it's all about a very special and very rare error. And no, I'm not talking about a tiny smudge or a bent corner. This is a double die error. That's right, double die. It's like when your printer decides to print the same thing twice, except this time, it's on a penny, and that penny is worth a fortune. Now here's the deal, the 1969 D penny has a double image of Abraham Lincoln's face and the lettering on the coin. This happened because the die was struck twice during the minting process, which is extremely rare. And because it's such a distinctive error, it makes the coin highly valuable. We're talking $1.8 million if you find the right one in top condition. But hold on, let's pause for a moment. This is where things get interesting. You might be thinking, how the heck do I find a $1 million penny? Well, that's the $1 million question, isn't it? Pun intended, I couldn't resist. Here's a little personal story for you. A few years ago, I was at a garage sale, just browsing through a box of loose coins. Nothing really special, mostly pennies, some nickels, the usual stuff. But then, I noticed one little penny that caught my eye. It was a 1969 D penny. I'm not gonna lie, I was kinda excited, because I knew about the rare double die error. But after a little examination, I realized it was a regular penny, no double die, no extra value. I mean, hey, it was still a cool find, but I wasn't about to retire on it now. Fast forward a few months. I'm watching one of those coin auction shows. Yes, I know, I'm a total nerd, and they show a 1969 D double die penny that sold for $1.8 million. I couldn't believe it. That could have been my penny. But hey, I'll keep looking. You never know when that next golden penny might pop up in my change jar. Here's a little coin hunting tip for you. If you're seriously searching for a 1969 D double die penny, make sure you're checking your pennies under good lighting and with a magnifying glass. That's how you catch the fine details that make a regular penny go from worth 1 cent to worth 1.8 million. Keep an eye on the date and the mint mark. The double die error is most noticeable in the word liberty and the date itself. If you spot a second image or some serious doubling in those areas, you may have just struck gold. And let's be real for a second. Not every 1969 D penny is going to be worth a fortune. In fact, most of them aren't. But that's the thrill of coin collecting, right? It's a bit like a treasure hunt, and every now and then, you find something truly special. Whether it's digging through your pocket change, looking at old coins passed down from family, or checking out your local flea market, you never know when you'll get lucky. So there you have it, folks. The 1969 D Lincoln penny, with its rare double die error, can be worth up to a jaw-dropping $1.8 million. Now, I know that doesn't happen every day, but it's definitely worth keeping your eyes peeled. Who knows, maybe the next time you're at the grocery store and your change jar is jangling with pennies, you'll pull out that golden one. Note: if you found this video helpful or entertaining, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. That way, you won't miss out on more tips and tricks to help you find hidden gems in the world of coin collecting. Trust me, you're going to want to stay in the loop for more strategies on how to turn your pocket change into a small fortune. And hey, if you've ever had a lucky coin find, or if you're now going to start checking every single 1969 D penny you come across, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your stories, and who knows, you might just inspire someone else to start their own coin hunt.